Residents could take a hit to their wallet come the new year. The latest on a proposed increase to sewer rates in the city.
Plus, FEMA has resumed operations in North Carolina after being forced to pause aid due to threats.
And in sports, looking back into last year's Battle of the Bricks before the 100th matchup this weekend. Newswatch starts right now. We are coming on the air with breaking news. The man who allegedly abducted a two-month-old boy in Fairfield County is on the run tonight. Police departments across the state are looking for this man, 27-year-old Russell Burris. Burris allegedly abducted the baby during a domestic dispute earlier this afternoon. Burris has blonde hair, blue eyes, and a Playboy bunny tattoo on his right hand. He was last seen wearing a white hoodie with blue writing.
The baby boy at the center of the statewide Amber Alert was found safe in Grovesport. Police say they are maintaining a heavy presence around the area they found the boy. If you see Burris or have any information, you are asked to call 911. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ariel Teppert.
And I'm Lucy Schaefer. Welcome to Newswatch. We've finally been seeing some of that autumn weather here in Athens. Lead forecaster Emily Dietz is here to tell us if that's going to continue. Emily?
Thank you. It's been a pretty true fall gloomy day down here in southeast Ohio. Behind me, we're taking a look at the radar from throughout the course of the day today. We had a lot of these spotty showers starting around 7 a.m. and they're going to be carrying on through the evening. Now, over the course of the day today, again, about 70% chance of showers that we will be seeing extended into the evening. We had a high of 51, so it really was true sweatshirt weather. Some of my favorite type of weather, actually, we can just kind of sit inside, get some work done, maybe even have a cup of hot chocolate. But tonight, we're going to see that low of 32, so things are going to be pretty cold tonight. And in fact, with that low temperature and with all the rain we've been seeing, we are seeing freeze warnings and frost advisories out throughout the state of Ohio and into Kentucky and West Virginia as well. So if you're in Athens or any of the surrounding counties underneath this freeze warning, we're expecting to see this in effect from 8 p.m. tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, taking a look tonight, again, that low of 32 right on the edge of freezing. We've actually started to see some sleet in some places in central Ohio, but tonight we're still going to see that 40% chance of showers as the system continues through the area. So be sure to stay tuned for my full forecast. So we're going to dive into the type of weather we can see tonight and this week.
Keep your eye out for missing person Isabella Jones Frost. She was last seen at her home in Coolville on Friday around 9 p.m. The 19-year-old has been missing for about 3 days. The Athens County Sheriff's Office says Jones Frost could be in danger. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the Sheriff's Office or local law enforcement.
Athens residents could see an increase in their sewer bill come next year. The city administration is proposing a 3% increase to your sewer rates. City officials say the move will help cover most of the cost of materials, which have seen an increase because of inflation. This is the second time the city has increased sewer rates since last November. Mayor Steve Patterson says these increases are a part of the plan to pay off upgrades at the city's wastewater treatment plant. He says sewer rates will go up annually throughout 2040 as part of the plan. If the city council approves the increase, residents would see their sewer rates going up starting January 1st. Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein is listed on your Ohio ballot, but votes for her won't count until an Ohio judge sides with her. Stein's lawsuit comes after an Ohio election officials made the decision to stop counting votes for Stein when her running mate was named to a national party. The Ohio Secretary of State's office allowed the Green Party to remove Stein's original running mate, but the office couldn't add an alternative person. Stein is arguing the withdrawal request was improperly done and votes for her should count. There are 3 weeks until Election Day, and it's crunch time for the presidential candidates who are looking for new ways to sway voters. Karen Kafa has more.
Vice President Kamala Harris sharpening her attacks on former President Donald Trump's capacity for another term in the White House.
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
As Democrats grow more fretful about the state of the race, which most national polls see as deadlocked, Harris in the battleground state of Pennsylvania Monday night stepped up the urgency in her message, warning of the extremism of a second Trump term.
He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country.
Trump was also in Pennsylvania for a town hall Monday night where he stayed on stage and swayed to music after rapping questions.
Play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
During the event, Trump took his own aim at Harris's capacity for the job.
Well, we have to beat her. Look, we
do.
have to beat her. She's not for this job. Everybody knows it.
Harris has also chided Trump in recent days for not releasing medical records after releasing a letter from her physician Saturday, tying it to a lack of transparency on Trump's part.
Are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable?
Trump has responded multiple times on his social media platform Truth Social, including calling on Monday for Harris to take a cognitive test and falsely claiming he's released more medical records than any president in history. Trump last released a letter from his doctor in November 2023, but it did not include the types of medical tests Trump took or the results. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
WOUB is your election source in Southeast Ohio. Get the latest on key races right here on WOUB and online at woub.org. On election night, join us for an 11:30 p.m. special report as we cover results as they come in live.
Ohio tax revenues for September are in, and state officials say consumers didn't benefit much from the tax-free holiday. The state estimated $249 million in sales tax to compensate for the 10-day tax-free holiday. Despite the holiday, over $800 million came in, which is a 226.9% increase. The state set aside $750 million to make up for consumers not paying the tax, thinking people would buy more during that period. Athens High School receives funds to support students with their education and future career. The school has recently been awarded more than $240,000 through the Ohio Career Technical Education Equipment Grant Program. The school will focus on information technology programming and software development, one of the highest paying and most in-demand fields in the state. The principal of Athens High School, April Stewart, says this funding allows students to have a choice for their future.
The experience that might give them options of it might open a world of ideas they've never had before.
The school is using the funds for programming, training for teachers, and equipment purchases. Students can take courses like Python, HTML, and JavaScript before taking industry credentialed tests. And they may also land an internship by the end of their coursework. The principal says hundreds of 9th through 12th graders may benefit from the program.
Piketon, Ohio is getting a factory to clean up the former Portsmouth gaseous diffusion plant, also known as PORTS. The Department of Energy is partnering with 2 companies to recycle over 6,000 tons of surface contaminated nickel at the plant. It can be used in high purity nickel products for grid scale batteries and more. DOE, along with Leidos and the Conductive Group, will work together to create a processing facility on site. The project will create jobs and put local United Steelworkers to work. This comes over 20 years after Ports was shut down from radioactive contamination. HAPCAP plans to reuse the Sunset Motel as an emergency housing shelter. The nonprofit just received funding to buy the Sunset Motel and renovate it, but the work doesn't begin until next year. Once renovations wrap up in spring of 2026, the Sunset Motel opens up as an emergency shelter for people experiencing homelessness. This will be the first and only emergency shelter in Athens County, and HAPCAP is asking for your input on the project. For more information or to fill out the survey, you can go to the website on your screen. Coming up, FEMA continues to help with recovery after being forced to pause operations.
And new studies show that germs on your toothbrush may actually be a good thing.
After a day of rain, sunny skies are in our future. Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out when we're going to see some sun.
Ready, go!
We're preparing for district now.
This is what I wear for Meet the People. I'm the type of person, I'm not nervous, I got this, until I'm in the hot seat.
You're gonna have to give them the impression that you know what you're talking about.
Guys, I'm actively peeing my pants right now.
The judges caught some of the units off guard.
The judiciary plays a large,
it's a lot of pressure.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
In the beginning, there have always been those of us looking for stories.
This is a huge moment.
I feel like there's nothing around that can stop me.
It's your being. It's who you are.
We need to do something to make a change.
I know that there are people like me out there.
We need to have a voice.
It's what you do next that matters.
You start to discover a deeper part of yourself.
My whole world changed instantly.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
Good evening. I hope everyone is having a good start to their week so far. And we are truly in the midst of that fall weather. We are in the middle of October and things have been pretty chilly outside. And in fact, we're looking at a little bit of light snow, and mainly some flurries in areas just north of Athens, but that's pretty soon going to be turning into rain and even stopping altogether. But our temperature outside is certainly pretty chilly. It's about 46, and because of all the rain we've had today, our humidity has gone up pretty high. So it's a pretty muggy but also chilly day. And with all this cold weather, we are seeing freeze warnings and frost advisories being issued across the state and to our friends down in West Virginia and Kentucky as well. Now, if you're in an area with this freeze warning, especially around Athens, Ohio, this is going to be in effect from 8 p.m. tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're looking at a very extended period of time tonight where we're going to see this chilly weather. Now, taking a look at why we're seeing all this rain and chilly weather is mainly from this low pressure system that we're seeing above us. Now, this is a very, very small low pressure system, and it actually is stemming from what we're seeing just off the New England coast up to the northeast of us. And this is actually kind of creating this what we call cyclonic rotation, and that's actually going to be moving in a counterclockwise direction, and it's pulling some of this moisture from the Great Lakes, which is why we saw the rain today, and the low pressure is allowing those clouds to form, and this rain to fall. But with this rotation is it's also pulling down some cooler air from the Arctic. Now, what's also which is why we're seeing cooler conditions. Now, we also have this high pressure, which is also playing an effect because this is what we call anticyclonic motion, where it's moving in a clockwise sort of direction, and it's also pulling this air down. And Ohio's kind of right on the edge of both of those. So right now we're just seeing a lot of this motion from the north, pulling a little bit of that moisture and that cooling air into our region. And here we can take a look at our temperature map, how that's really affecting us and why we kind of see this cooler air sort of trough going on and why we're going to be in the 40s and 50s through today and tomorrow. But as that high pressure kind of hangs around the Midwest area, it's eventually going to move towards the east and bring in some warmer conditions with it. Taking a look out west, we do see those mid 70s. We're not going to get that high up, but we are definitely going to get pretty close as the week goes on because, again, with this high pressure system, we're also going to be seeing clearing skies, and that's going to help the sun really warm everything up. But for tonight, again, we're still seeing that 40% chance of showers with our overnight low right at that freezing level, right at that 32 degrees. And again, for tomorrow, we're going to see that system start to shift towards the east, where we have little chances of rain through the eastern part of the state. But for those of us in the central and western part of the state, we're looking at clearing skies. And again, for tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high 55. So definitely still on the cooler side of things. And as we move into tomorrow, that high pressure is really going to take an effect, especially as we go into Thursday. That high pressure is really going to be dominating this area and leaving us with some really sunny skies. So that sunshine is going to be hanging around for a while, and in fact, increasing our temperature as well. So we're going from the mid 50s even up into the low 70s as well. And it's really going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out this week.
So you were talking about all of the sun that we're going to be seeing. We've seen a lot of rain from those hurricanes. Are we going to be seeing any more hurricanes this season?
Well, we're actually still in hurricane seasons. That lasts until about November 1st. And fortunately for us, we probably won't be seeing any more hurricanes. We do see a couple of developments, just some small thunderstorms off the coast of Africa, and that's going to be moving into the Gulf area. But we're really hoping that those don't develop into anything strong or severe. But we're, again, still in that hurricane season, so we can't rule out seeing another hurricane completely.
Right, and then do you see any more rain on the forecast coming up?
Not for this week, fortunately. I really am enjoying a lot of this sunshine. I'm going to be looking forward to it because as much as I do love a rainy, cloudy weather, I really do love me some sunshine as well.
Oh, well, thanks, Emily. I appreciate it. Now, FEMA has resumed some operations in North Carolina after it said over the weekend it was forced to pause aid in several areas impacted by Hurricane Helene. Cheryl Hubbard has more on the reported threats made towards responders.
In North Carolina, FEMA resumed door-to-door outreach to disaster survivors on Monday afternoon. That's after some FEMA operations were paused due to threats in some counties over the weekend. The pauses came amid a backdrop of misinformation about responses to recent storms.
Some of those stories just continue to persist at the cost of delivering needed resources to disaster survivors.
On FEMA.gov, it has a fact sheet. Myth: FEMA grant money is a loan that I will need to pay back. Fact: FEMA disaster relief are grants which do not need to be repaid. Myth: I'm a renter. I thought FEMA assistance was only for homeowners for home repairs. Fact: FEMA assistance is not just for homeowners. FEMA may provide assistance to help renters who lost personal property or who were displaced. Myth: FEMA asks for upfront payment to help fill out an application or perform an inspection. Fact: FEMA staff and inspectors never charge money for service.
We don't confiscate land. We don't have black helicopters. We don't have FEMA camps.
44-year-old William Jacob Parsons was arrested over the weekend after authorities said he made a comment about possibly harming FEMA employees working after the disaster of Hurricane Helene in the Lake Lurie and Chimney Rock area. They say he was armed with a handgun and rifle. FEMA said threats caused some FEMA offices to close temporarily. President Joe Biden touted the agency's recovery efforts in Tampa Sunday.
FEMA has delivered 1.2 million meals, over 300,000 liters of water.
I'm Cheryl Hubbard reporting.
FEMA says it is coordinating a federal force of more than 7,000 personnel. President Biden approved a major disaster declaration in the state of Florida, making funding available for people in more than 30 counties impacted by Milton. The funds include grants for temporary housing and home repairs. As FEMA continues to respond to Hurricanes Helene and Milton, an agency spokesperson says it has roughly $8.5 billion in its disaster relief fund. Despite the relatively low balance, the spokesperson says FEMA has the funding it needs to continue recovery efforts from both hurricanes. The balance is also a reflection of how it has been a year of non-stop disasters filled with tornadoes, wildfires, and floods. FEMA recently received around $20 billion from Congress to respond to hurricane season after the agency ran out of money earlier this year. The FEMA administrator announced last week that about $9 billion of that was spent reimbursing other states for earlier disasters.
Jury selection has begun in the federal retrial of a former Louisville, Kentucky police officer charged in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor. Prosecutors say Brett Hankison used excessive force and violated Taylor's civil rights when he fired shots into her apartment in 2020 during a botched police raid. The federal case was tried last year, but when the trial ended, the jury was deadlocked and the judge ordered a mistrial. A new study found Americans haven't been this worried about their making minimum credit card payments since the pandemic. The information comes from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Its September survey showed the average perceived probability of missing a minimum debt payment during the next 3 months was more than 14%. That's the highest reading since April of 2020. Outside of the pandemic, it's the highest delinquency expectation reading since January 2017. And it's the 4th monthly increase in a row.
New research has uncovered viruses that live on things you probably use every day. But don't panic, these microbes could be life-saving. Researchers from the McCormick School of Engineering at Northwestern University found the viruses called bacteriophage all over shower heads and toothbrushes. But microbiologist Erica Hartman says these microbes don't make you sick, they kill bacteria, which could save lives.
We've relied on antibiotics to be able to treat infections and save lives. But right now, antimicrobial resistance is one of the biggest public health challenges that we're facing globally.
Hartman says the hope is that these viruses could help develop better medicines or biotechnologies.
Next in sports, a look back into last year's Battle of the Bricks before the 100th meeting on Saturday. Plus, it's time to find out who won and who went home in high school playoff volleyball.
on Masterpiece Mystery.
I should not have taken this case.
The book was my idea. I started all this, and now I'm going to finish it.
Why won't you take no for an answer?
He's a convicted murderer.
What do you think he can possibly tell you?
Don't you want to know who killed her?
I know who killed her.
He's hiding something.
Are you sure there isn't something else you've missed?
Moonflower Murders, the series finale on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
The past is the past. It's better left there.
He's a powerful man. He's got ego and money to hire a professional to do his dirty work.
Is he dead?
Well, it's unlike anything to go wrong on your watch.
Let alone with one of your investigations.
You should have told me!
I trusted you.
You better tread carefully.
Vandervalk, the season finale on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB. For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
This year, Gridiron is back and better than ever with our 25th season. I'm your host, Haley Hollinger.
And I'm your digital host, Donovan Varney. Throughout the week, make sure to tune into our Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube for game preview segments on the pregame huddle. If you still can't get enough high school football, check out our Instagram and TikTok for more weekly content.
And of course, we'll see you right here every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. because there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Maddie Kiefer with sports. Ohio football will travel to Oxford to face Miami for the 100th Battle of the Bricks matchup. Last time these two rivals met, it was highly anticipated as it had large playoff implications. It was a rainy day in Athens, and this game would essentially determine the winner of the MAC East. Ohio took a quick 9-0 lead with a 1-yard CA banger, a touchdown, and a field goal. They also did not allow Miami a first down throughout the first quarter. From there, it took a turn for the worse for the Bobcats as the Redhawks found their groove and scored 23 unanswered points throughout the second and third quarter. Ohio could not claw back, and they would end up losing this game 30-16. To make matters worse, it was the first loss at home since 2021, and Miami would end up becoming the 2023 MAC champions. The Bobcats will be looking to get their revenge on their arch rival Saturday at 3:30. And looking even further ahead, Ohio released the kickoff time for their game against Buffalo in 2 weeks. The game will be held at noon in Peden Stadium. Moving into high school volleyball is officially in the playoff season. 2 Athens County teams fought to move on to the district semifinals against tough opponents. The Alexander Spartans took on the Jackson Ironwomen at home in the Alley. The first set was won 25-13 due to great offensive play. The second set, on the other hand, was filled with errors on both sides. After regrouping in the timeout, the Spartans gained control and took the set 25-19. The last set was lights out for Alexander, with Marissa Beach going in on a 9-point service run, causing the most dominant set of the night with a score of 25-5. With a 3-0 victory, the Spartans traveled to Fairfield Union on Thursday to continue their title hopes. The Bulldogs also had a playoff matchup against Unioto's Shermans. The first set was led by 4 aces in a row by Alexa Reed, and Unioto could not keep up. The Bulldogs won this one 25-13. The second set was close until the Shermans called a timeout that cost 6 kills. It was tight the rest of the way, but ended up in the Bulldogs' favor, taking it 25-22. The third set was even closer, but 2 straight kills from Ava Maley closed it out 26-24 and gave Athens a sweep. The Bulldogs will travel to Marietta for the district semifinal. With both of these teams moving on, it will be interesting to see just how far they go. That's all the time for sports. Back to the desk.
Still ahead, today marks the return of these beloved bears to our National Zoo.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future.
This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
The October 7th attacks, and a year of unprecedented violence, told by Israelis and Palestinians.
זה בלתי נתפס, זה הדבר הכי נורא שיכול לקרות לאמא.
انت ما بتتخيلي كيف شعورها، لكن هيك مشت الامور.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
The big game is returning to Atlanta in 2028. The National Football League announced Super Bowl 62 will be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This will mark the 4th time Atlanta has hosted the Super Bowl. The last time the city hosted it was in 2019. In a statement, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell cited Atlanta's hospitality, sports, and entertainment culture as to why it was a great fit for the game.
2 giant pandas have arrived in our nation's capital, marking the much-awaited return of the beloved bears from China to Washington's National Zoo. 2 3-year-old giant pandas are completing their journey from southwest China to the American capital. Today's touchdown of the Panda Express marks a rare bright spot between the U.S. and China. Tensions over trade, technology, geopolitics, and more leading to fraught relations.
There's a pretense on both sides that this is just about conservation. Ultimately, the underlying subtext is, only China in the whole world has pandas. And so if the relationship is good, China will share their pandas with us.
Professor Judith Shapiro says pandas have long been used by China to project soft power or an image of itself on the international stage that is favorable and can build goodwill. Those pandas are so cute, and isn't that so fun about the Super Bowl Atlanta? Like, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is just an electric environment.
It really is. It's a beautiful stadium, and I can't wait to see them play there again this year.
Absolutely, and back to the pandas, that's my hometown in DC, and I spent so many weekends seeing them, so I'm really, really glad they're back.
Hopefully when you go back home for any break or anything, you get the chance to go see them, and I really wish I'd be able to go with you because I'd love to be able to see a panda. And hopefully they're enjoying the weather that we're getting. And in fact, tonight it's going to be pretty chilly out down here in Southeast Ohio. We're looking at our overnight low of 32 with that 40% chance of showers, so we are right at that freezing level. And with that those freezing temperatures, we are seeing freeze warnings and frost advisories issued across the state and even down in West Virginia and in Kentucky as well. Now, if you're in one of these freeze warning areas, particularly in Athens or a surrounding county, we are looking at this taking effect from 8 p.m. tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're looking at a very, very cold night tonight. Now, the next 7 days, we're going to see something quite different. Tomorrow, the system is going to be moving off towards the east. We're going to see partly sunny skies. Our temperatures are still on the cooler side of things, but as we move into the weekend, things are going to be warming up quite a lot. We're going to be back up into the 70s with those sunny skies due to a high pressure system moving through the area. So definitely enjoy this fall weather while we still have it.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Maddie Kiefer and Emily Dietz, I'm Marielle Tepper.
And I'm Lucy Schaefer. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.